So trust me, doing it manually was not easy. And plus, the way that I used to do it, now I don't do it anymore. Now I actually do it better. Now I actually keep the mods that I download instead of actually doing my old thing, which is download them, extract them from their RAR file or whatever, and then once they're thrown into my Oblivion thing, delete everything that I got from that RAR file, including the RAR file, and then do it. I don't do that anymore. All I do is that I open up whatever file destination it's at, RAR, whatever, set it to a certain thing. I think I have it as, so it has the name of the mod, and then inside it has all the directories, so like the meshes, the textures, the ESP, the ESMs if it has any kind of thing, and I have it all set in there, and that's exactly what I have it doing. And that's how I have every mod now. Now, some mods do break. I know the DMC stylish one doesn't particularly like that, but it works nonetheless, and it's much easier to get it to work anyway through this way, because he's just because I use Vortex, so I just click and then click again to install and then reinstall, and it works. Mind you, since I got Monochrome, which is this current computer, I never really did have to uninstall and reinstall, so thumbs up. That's the only positive that I can see, is that I don't have to do that anymore, so it's quite good actually. The other thing is that, like I am not really going to be too open about this too much, but like I absolutely hated Oblivion modding back in the old days. So I'm gonna actually say the first time I actually Oblivion modded. I'll also say this during the Oblivion thing that I have to record later on today anyway, because it's a very funny story. So back when I was in middle school, actually back during elementary school, I think late elementary school I should say, like grade 4 or 5, I think, I got introduced to Oblivion. I know, very, very young, but I knew the difference between a game and real life, so I knew that whatever I learned in there, or whatever kind of thing is not real and all that stuff, blah 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 blah. So I wasn't a very violent kid anyway, so it didn't really matter if I was playing like Doom or something like that as a 5-year, like as a, how old was I? I was like 9 or 10, I think. Yeah, there's not really too much of anything wrong with that. Anyway, well, there was wrong with that. I was 9, but anyway. Yeah. So anyway. So back when I was in grade 6, 7, I think. 6, I think. Because I think 7 I was doing something else. Oh, sorry, I have to go to the other switch. Yeah, so I think I had to... Yeah, so I went towards... So I looked at a bunch of other people playing these so-called Oblivion mods, and I thought, oh, those would be kind of fun to play. There was one person I will always be loyal to subscribe to, and I also have him as a friend on Steam as well. It's very nice, and I absolutely loved his content back in the old days, especially for the Oblivion modding. He doesn't really do it anymore because he has a bunch of Oblivion issues, but nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so I was watching this guy a bunch of times, and I was watching other people playing these cool mods, and I'm like, I want to do that. Like, I want to be able to play this Capes and Cloaks mod and all that stuff, and there wasn't really too much of any people saying like how exactly to do Oblivion modding. There was one that said drag and drop and it works. And I drag and drop, it doesn't work. So I'm like, am I doing it wrong? This guy literally says drag and drop. So I'm a visual person. I have to actually see pictures of what I'm supposed to be doing in order for me to do things. That's how I am. So if you don't show me exactly what I'm supposed to be doing and you give me a basic text of like a how-to thing, it's like, okay, I don't understand. So this guy's just saying drag drop works. Okay, I drag drop doesn't work. I think I broke it. And it's not like I can't read the mod page at all. I'm reading the mod page. It says go to the Imperial City Market District and you should be able to buy the capes and cloaks. Okay, I'm going to the Imperial City thinking I've installed it correctly and I don't have it. Okay, something's wrong. So I read the guide again. It says, oh, make sure that the thing's checkmarked. Duh, I forgot about that. So I go and checkmark it. I go back. It's technically there, but they're all exclamation marks. What's wrong? So I think, oh, it's in folders. You notice where this is going. It's in these folders known as meshes and textures. Maybe I need to extract them from there. So I cut and pasted all the things from there and pasted them out of there into the game's data directory. One problem is that you don't need to do that, but I'm a kid who's trying to problem solve a very simple thing where people are saying to drag and drop. I don't know any better. I'm trying to figure out why this mod's not working. So I do that, and I'm like, it didn't fix it. Okay, now I'm lost. I don't know what's going on here. So I looked for a little bit, didn't really get any far, so I only was able to play Oblivion Vanilla. I was sad. And later on, when I was in grade 7... I'm trying to figure out when I first got an Oblivion mod to work. It was either late grade 7 or early grade 8, I think. I was finally able to get it to work, and I felt so dumb for actually extracting it all in there. And then I'm like, that's gonna make a good story one day. Whenever everybody's like, oh, how'd you get good at Oblivion modding? I'm like, drag and drop, man, drag and drop. Like, this is just that bad. And again, this was before, and even the videos or websites or anything that I looked at for that never recommended a mod organizer. I don't think one existed back then, or it was less known, or something like that, where a lot of people did not know there was one out. That would have helped out a lot. I'm gonna tell you this. If you would have told me that I didn't have to worry about it, download Oblivion Mod Manager. I think that's the one that I used a lot early, I think. And that would have helped you out so much, I would have went for it. Because I quite literally did not understand what was going on here. I kept trying everything. At first I extracted all the mesh files first. Didn't work. I extracted all the texture files. Didn't work. And I'm like, okay, I don't understand what's going on here. I think I'm done. And then I gave up. Nowadays, now that I know how to mod Oblivion, if I do run into an issue like that, I go, okay, what's wrong? What's wrong with this thing that I'm seeing right now? What is up with it? Now that I know better, I know how to fix these issues, right? A lot of the times, usually it's a missing texture, missing a mesh, or the mesh is not misplaced. It's like a mistextured kind of thing. Doesn't have the right texture path or whatever kind of thing. You know, it makes, there's actual logical sense now that I'm actually doing it. I know how to do it. I'm not blindly just saying like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing. No, I don't. And I had a blast. Oblivion was my first Elder Scrolls game, and then later on, I was able to play Morrowind. I played for about 20 minutes, I think. It was like 10, 20 minutes, and I'm like, I don't like the way this guy walks, and I didn't like the game at all. Oblivion looks more natural to me. Skyrim, see, I don't see it as more natural in a way. It slightly resembles Morrowind to me. Not as bad, but it slightly resembles Morrowind to my mind, and that's why I don't like it. Morrowind, when you go into third person and you walk, to me that looks like a silly walk. Like, it looks like you're trying to run, but you're in walking speed, and it just looks so clunky, and I didn't like it. Mind you, it was probably very advanced back when Morrowind was the new game, but for a person who played Oblivion and went straight to Morrowind, it didn't really look that normal to me. And so that's when I just went, okay, Morrowind's not the game for me. Because Morrowind also had a sort of like I don't know if this is actually how it kind of worded it, but this is how I'm gonna word it. It has an accuracy check, which is really weird for a game. So literally, you could be standing in front of an enemy, swinging at their head, and your character will somehow miss when the enemy is not even moving, and they're hitting you, and you're hitting them, and somehow you're missing. This doesn't make any sense to me. So that's when I just ended up going, you know what? Morrowind's not really for me. But for a kid who only ever played 3 games... Was it 3? I'm not going to count the Pokemon games, because I don't really think I should count. I'm going to count PC games right now. There's only 3 games that I played as a kid that are on the PC. And one of them is a mod that I didn't know was a mod. I thought it was an actual game. One of them was Warcraft 2. I loved that game. Very, very fun and medieval, which I remember always imagining myself playing that game outside, playing with sticks and stuff like that. I would make like a thing, and I would always sort of make like the what do you call it? The not announcements. It's like to announce that your base is under attack. And I would literally just start swinging my stick at the pile of sticks and go, "Your base is under attack!" And I had a blast with that. The other game I was playing was Red Alert 2. This was just Red Alert 2. I don't think Yuri's Revenge came out, or I didn't have it at that moment. You're probably noticing that I was more geared towards strategy games, which is funny because you'd be right. I was more geared towards strategy, and at that moment, I loved Red Alert 2. It was a lot of fun. I don't think I've ever played the campaign. I think I only played the skirmish. I think I played the campaign until like level like 3 or 4. Then I got stuck because I didn't know what to do, and then I just ended up just going into skirmish all the time. And later on, I go into the multiplayer games, I think, and then that was it. And I sort of learned a few things, and then the other game that I used to play was Tactical Ops. This one was the one that I played the most. And this one was the one that kind of made me look really weird. Okay, so in Tactical Ops, it is a mod of, I think it's the original Unreal Tournament, or it's the second one. It's not Unreal Tournament 2004, I think it's the one before that. I might be wrong on this. I don't know which Unreal Tournament it is. I know it's one of them. And that was the other game that had a very big impression on my young mind. So I was the weird kid that would pretend they were actually in the game. It was pretty much a VR in my mind. And I was the one that would be playing this game thinking that I was literally in the game right now, playing this special thing that my parents had known as the Monsters thing. And I forget what it was, but I remember playing it. And they had their own sort of like tactical ops server. Oh no, the dig. No, I wanted the server. Yeah, so like I had my so like I was playing monsters a lot, and I was really proud at one moment when I killed this thing called a warlord. This thing is very dumb and very difficult to kill. So this thing, if you never played Tactical Ops Monsters, allow me to explain. It's a winged